Hey, what's up, Cubs fans? July 19th, Thursday night. Pretty exciting game. Cubs come back from the All-Star break. They win 9-6 over the Cardinals. Always great to beat the Cardinals. It was kind of a typical game of late where starting pitching not the best. I was hoping Hendricks could at least get through 5 innings and only give up 2 runs. Ended up giving up a third run, and then he couldn't make it 5 innings, taken out with 2 outs. And he was up to 110 pitches. You had the bases loaded. It was kind of scary. You bring in Dunsing, who's not having a great year, but he's been looking better since his return from the DL. Comes in with bases loaded. Cubs are down 3-0. I'm like, oh shit. Well, actually, they were down 3-1. And he got the ground ball out. So I'm like, all right, we got through it. And then bottom of the fifth is when the Cubs bats got really going. They score 5 runs. They start to rock Martinez. And, Martinez, pretty solid pitcher for the Cardinals. I'll give the Deadbirds credit. His ERA was like in the low 3s coming into the game. And Cubs took a little while. And they finally got 5 runs against them. And next thing you know, instead of being down 3-1, Cubs are up 6-3. It's kind of a team effort. Hayward had a couple RBI hits. Happ hit a big 2-run homer, and next thing you know, we're looking pretty good. We get into the 6th inning, and Bass comes in. His ERA was like .60. Comes back from the DL, and pretty decent sample size, like 15 innings. He's not really walking guys. He's getting out. He's not allowing runs to score. And then, what do you know, somehow Carpenter, who's not even good, hits a solo home run. So ERA jumps up to 1.17, but it happens. So Cubs are up 6-4. And, they just keep kind of grinding out. And kind of one thing I didn't like, with Hendricks going 4 2/3, we brought in a lot of different relievers. We've seen Wilson, we've seen Edwards. He looked good in the 8th, and in the 9th, he gave up a couple hits and allowed a run. So I guess he's just not quite closer material, unfortunately. He's got some great stuff, but he gave up a run in both of his last outings, unfortunately, after he looked pretty solid, striking out like 5 or 6 batters in a row. It's pretty amazing. But I guess it happens to everyone. Kind of the scary news, Cisa came in and pitched like 1 1/3. What scares me about him is that's like his 46th outing, and, Madden's trying to get guys to pitch 2 innings, and lately pitching 2 innings has been kind of backfiring. So it's something to watch as we play all these days in a row. And then we got some bad news that Morrow has bicep tendonitis. They don't think it's anything serious, but they notice like his velocity's been down, and they put him on the DL. That's why Bass got called up. So we're kind of operating without a closer. Cishek has closing experience, but I was like, they brought him in the 6th inning. Thanks for the Cubs bats. It wasn't a closing situation. When Edwards gave up a run in the 9th, they brung in Strop, and then one pitch got the ground out, and we won. So it went from 9-5 to 9-6 when Edwards gave up that run. I tell you, with the bats exploding, it kind of masks his problems with the starting pitching. I'm hoping Hendricks can do a little bit better. Let's get to six innings pitched and give up 3 runs or less. He's not making it. He didn't quite make it 5 innings. His pitch count's been high the last couple games. Maybe there'll be some more urgency that we need to go after and get a trade and get a starting pitcher. Even if we have to trade a guy in a roster or a good prospect. I know we don't want to mortgage the future, but I think we do have a pretty good chance with the bats we have to win a World Series. Maybe I'm crazy. We do have weaknesses, but I think we have an opportunity to address those weaknesses. I really do. Now, after the game, or close to the end of the game, I seen a a tweet by Ken Rosenthal, and maybe you've seen it already, but we finally made a trade. We got Jesse Chavez. I'll be honest, I don't know American League guys that well, but doing some research he's like a reliever that used to be a starter. And Madden kind of made a comment that he's versatile. So 3.5 ERA, not quite a wow, not an all-star. But let's face it, with Hendrick struggling going deep, we know Chatwood has issues. We don't know when Darvish is coming back. We're not going to get a lot of starting pitching performances where they're going 6-7 innings deep. And what's going to happen is that's going to tax the bullpen. As much as I think the bullpen, too, they've been one of the better ones, but as we play more days in a row, which with all the rainouts and stuff, too. So it'll be interesting. I guess this guy can play starting Saturday, and Saturday we have a doubleheader. Another option is they could start him on Monday, because after we have 5 pitchers that pitch 5 games in 4 days because of that doubleheader Saturday, we have an available slot on Monday because not enough rest. But I don't know if this Jesse Chavez is ready because he's only been pitching like 1 inning games. Like, can he just step in and pitch 4, 5, 6 innings? Don't you have to be stretched out first? So we'll see. He hasn't pitched since the 15th, so it'll be another fresh arm. With starters issues, we've been kind of playing the revolving door game of bringing up a guy from Iowa, sending him down. And it's kind of clever, too. Otherwise, the bullpen will probably have even more problems. Even a couple veterans went down to the pen. You have Butler rehabbing. He pitched his best game, 5 innings, only 1 earned run, another unearned run, like 4 hits. His ERA is still like 8 since coming back to Iowa, but it was his best game, so that's encouraging. They have to decide if he's worth bringing him back to Chicago or if they just pay him to basically end things. I think he's still close to league minimum anyway. He did pretty good last year, but it is a business. As we're getting down to the stretch, you got to evaluate, those valuable roster spots too. So, so Cubs are now 56-38, 18 games above 500. Tomorrow they play a day game at 1:20. You have Lester on the mound, so that's pretty encouraging. Glad they pulled this off. And game 2 of a 5-game series against the Cardinals. They could really pretty much put Cardinals in selling mode too. If they swept them all, they're going to be like 12, 13 games back. They may start to regroup. They're already kind of in turmoil, even though they're a little bit above 500. A lot of teams would say, we get on a roll at the end, we could still make the playoffs. They fired their manager. They're a little bit of a mess right now. So something to watch, but they may just decide to go for a rebuild and trade some of their better players. We'll see. I haven't quite studied their roster. I mean, they do have talent. As much as I criticize the Deadbirds and like seeing them lose, they still have talent. They just may need new leadership. I hope they don't get that Joe Girardi, because if Madden retires, he grew up in Chicago. I'd love to see him manage the Cubs. Just kind of a personal opinion. And plus, I don't want to see the Cardinals get better. Exciting news. Cubs won their first game back from the All-Star break. First game they played, they were the only major league game today. And they made a trade for a reliever that could start, so that'd be interesting. By the way, they traded for one player, Tyler Thomas. He's in low A South Bend. His ERA 2.88. He's a starter. It's one of those trades where 2, 3, 4 years down the road, maybe we're like, why the heck did we trade him for a reliever that's average? We don't know how it's going to work out. The guy we got is a rental. We could potentially re-sign him next year. And this Tyler Thomas, he'll be under team control for a number of years. 2.88 ERA in South Bend, but I guess keep in mind, I see a lot of guys dominate in the lower levels, and then they get up to the higher levels, and then they struggle. So, never know what the heck can happen. And, we're in a situation where we want to win now. We don't want to mortgage the future too much, but we have to make some. We have to do. The Dodgers made a big move, Machado, pretty big move, and they didn't have to give up anyone on the major league roster. So we're hearing. I'm hearing different rumors like trade DeGrom for Happ, Russell, Montgomery. Seems pretty steep to give up 3 major league players and a guy that could be your best, long man and spot start. I don't know. It seems pretty big ransom, even though if you get that same DeGrom, all-star too, that might be the guy that puts you over the top. So it's going to be kind of exciting till July 31st, the trade deadline, to see what happens. And all I know is right now Cubs are 3 games ahead in first place. They still played 4 less games than the Milwaukee Brewers. So if they were to win those 4 games, they'd have a 5-game lead. Still a long ways from over, but we're looking at, 60-some games, although it was the All-Star break. It's not a true half and half. Some teams play like 97 games already. You play 162, so still a lot that can happen. But I do like Cubs' chances in the division to take it. I think our schedule's favorable with more home games and road games left. Maybe the one disadvantage is we play a lot of games in a row. The less days off you have, like today, we pitched. I think we pitched all our relievers except for like Rosario and Norwood. I don't know if I'm missing anyone out, but we used a number of relievers at least a little bit. And, it's something to watch as we're playing 13 games in 12 days. We're playing a doubleheader. So I'm sure we're going to be rotating. We already know Saturday that new pitcher is going to be coming in. So we'll be making some rotations in the bullpen. There'll be some transactions made. Monday is a big story to watch to see if we bring in a starter by the trade to just come in and pitch, or if we bring up someone from Iowa, or if it's a bullpen day. It's kind of tough to do a bullpen day when, for one, our starter only went 4 2/3 today. And then we have a doubleheader coming up on Saturday. So then in 2 days, we're just going to do a bullpen day. Lester can hopefully flip the switch and pitch 7-8 innings tomorrow. Help out the bullpen a little bit. Today was the first day and 3 days off, so not a problem pitching almost everyone today, but that can't continue day in, day out. Saturday I'm already thinking, oh great, Chatwood's going to be pitching one of the games. How much longer? Anyway, we'll talk more, Cubs fans. Hopefully some more exciting news after tomorrow's game. We got Lester on the mound, so I like our chances. Go Cubs, go.